Hey everybody, welcome back to Blakeslee Acres. I'm Joe. Today we're over here working at the butcher shop. Actually, I've been over here the last few days. Got a ton of things going on right now. A lot has changed since the last couple update videos. We got excavator here to dig septic system. So our local county health inspector designed this for us. It has that tank's coming directly out of the floor drains, which are poked out of the wall over there, and that is going to have a A100 filter in it to catch any debris that might be going in there, just to help mitigate clog up of the tank itself. It's a 500 gallon concrete tank. The secondary tank, this is for future restrooms or anything else that we might put into the business here. That's just a regular 1,000 gallon tank setup. And then we come over and we had to put in a sand filter, which I'm working on right now. Waiting on more materials to show up for that. So the sand filter is because we have heavy clay soil here, and it won't dissipate into the ground and filter out. It'll kind of just sit into the hole that you put your leach field in. So we had to put the sand filter in. It's a lot more money than a regular leach field, but everything will be treated accordingly. You have on the bottom layer, you have some number 2 stone. You put a single, my setup is different than some have multiple. I have a single perforated pipe that runs along the bottom at a pitch down, and that hole down there is called a secondary distribution field. So that'll go down there. The bottom line in this sand filter goes out, drains into that field, which has 12 inches of sand and then 12 inches of stone with the pipe in the stone. An extra step to keep things filtered before it runs off into the groundwater or ditches or whatever may be in the path of down the hill. In our case, there is a ditch there, so we had to put the secondary in. Not a big deal. So this is a distribution box. The secondary septic tank slopes downhill. I do believe it calls for, on my plans, between around an 1/8 pitch. I have this a little bit steeper, just because the grade of my ground, it just worked out that way, which is better anyway, I think. For code for us in normal plumbing, it is 1/4 inch per foot drop. This is calling for an 1/8. I think I'm somewhere right in between that. So it runs into the distribution box, and that's where the fingers will come out and lay on top of this stone that I have here. Unfortunately, I'm waiting for more stone to show, which is not going to be here until Monday. So I'm kind of at a dead end for this. I can put sand and start the bottom one and get that prepped, which I'm going to work on right now. And then I am going to work on running our water line from our well, which is out there behind the skid steer. We're coming straight across this way and coming across the front and into the building, trying to keep it away for any future expansion. Other than that, we're moving right along. We got a lot of stuff going on in here. This place is packed right full. As you can see up above me, we got some of the electrical started, roughed in. We are using sanded plywood on the interior of the office and utility room. We'll probably end up painting that when we're all done. In the last video, you see me building these walls. Hopefully they'll be sheeted, and I think the Amish are coming back to the interior steel this coming up week, which will probably be another update video. This one I'm going to pretty much focus on the septic. I didn't get a lot to the beginning of the septic because there were people here helping me, and I just didn't want to film. I just wanted to get it done. We got rain coming in the forecast. Unfortunately, it is what it is. But behind the shop has changed here too. See the dozer work. This was cut back. This bank was only 15 feet away from the building. I think we're at like 25 or 30 feet, something like that there. And this whole area has been graded and cut back so we could have more parking, places for trucks and trailers to pull. Got a lot of different changes that we had going on. So yeah, we are full force trying to get this thing done and be open here in a few weeks, hopefully. We also got, I think we got all or almost all of our supplies for the electrical. I'm hoping to have that done next week so we can get our inspection and get the power company on their way to get the power on into the building. If the Amish show up with the steel and get that put on, we might end up having all the electrical done next week. Honestly, we'll be, or pretty dang close anyway. So if we could get our final inspection and be done with that, that would be fantastic. Truck brought and set. That one we had end up having to set ourselves because he couldn't get around there. Right now you can see the yellow line coming down the hill. I am currently filling the 2 septic tanks with water because we have a lot of rain coming. And for those of you who don't know, fresh septic tank that is empty and you get a lot of rain before it gets packed in and gets filled, it can actually float up out of the ground. And I really, really do not want to dig these out and have to reset them because we've already had a huge headache getting the septic system started and getting it done. So I don't want to play that game. We are not too far from completing this. I probably would have had it done, or pretty well done, by the end of the weekend, ready for inspection if I had the stone that was supposed to come today. So I still can get from the building connected into the 2 tanks and the 2 tanks connected into the distribution box. I'm going to pull some stone up, get that set, and have everything tied into that. And I can get the sand into the secondary distribution field. So that's how I'm going to work on that. And then I'm going to get going on this water line. So hopefully you guys can stick with us and see what kind of progress I make this weekend. So yeah, getting this water line dug in. We're digging a little bit deeper because we will be crossing the driveway. I'm also going to sleeve it so the frost doesn't get driven into it. I'm going roughly 5.5, 6 feet deep. We are also doing that for future, so we know that it's deep enough in case when we add on or do whatever, we should be safe on not hitting the water line. When I get this all dug, I'm going to get a paper and do complete measurements on the depth and distance from the building so we know where everything's at. We'll keep it on file somewhere. Looks like it's going to be a late one, but we're going to keep moving on it. Well, water line sleeved in. It's all the way out to the well casing. I just got to get the pitless adapter hole drilled for that through there and get that attached and get the pipe run into that. Conduit up for the wire. But I think I'm going to call it a night. It's after midnight. I'm tired. Alright everybody, we got a bunch of rain and it's muddier than heck here, but I'm in the dozer kind of filling and packing in the trench for the water line. I went and got the bit so I can get the line poked through the casing and see if we can't get that done here real quick. I didn't want to do it in the mud, but got to keep working on it, so you're gonna get it done. Yeah, it's been a couple days since I worked on this septic system, but as you can see, it's getting put in. Distribution box behind us. It has speed levelers to go inside here. Goes up to the secondary 1,000-gallon tank, and then that's tied into 500-gallon. I haven't done that yet, and then that'll be tied into the floor drains in the building. That has a pretty elaborate filter system in it to catch any fats and grease before it goes into the secondary tank. The secondary tank will be for bathrooms and stuff like that eventually when we add them onto the building. So yeah, we're moving right along on this now. Getting pretty far. Down there is the distribution field. The pipe's already laid in that. I just got to level the gravel off. I want to get this bed and that bed done tonight and backfill around the lines coming out of the septics and get as far as I can. So you can see inside the distribution. So inside the distribution box, it's got this baffle and it brings the water around evenly. These I'll trim back just a touch more. I cut them a little extra long so I could get the length of my runs. The distance in between is 3 foot solid pipe, 3 foot of solid pipe. I got at least 3 foot there. There's actually 4 foot coming out, and then goes to perforated. Underneath, this is number 2 stone. Underneath this, there is roughly 2 foot of sand, and then 3 inches of the number 1 pea gravel. And number 2 is underneath with the drain line that I showed. That comes out to the lower distribution field right here and makes this loop. All right, everybody. We are almost done with the septic system. So I'm going to wrap the video up here. It was inspected today, passed. We're all set. So sand filter, I already explained what that is. Distribution box, I put the speed levelers in this morning before the inspector got here and got those set. For those of you that don't know what speed levelers are, it's a little yellow thing. You can look it up, and they got holes in them at a certain spot. So you put them in your leach lines going out, and you fill your box up with water until it's coming out of the holes, and then you just set those so each one of them speed levelers are letting out roughly the same amount of water. It doesn't need to be an exact science, but you want it pretty close. So it's dispersing the water coming from your septic tanks. We got 2 out into your sand filter or leach field, whatever you have. We have the sand filter, so it's going to filter the water coming down. It goes from there to a line that is in the very bottom of the sand filter, tapers back down into distribution field, which is another 12 inches of sand, 12 inches of stone, and I'm going to be putting some bank run down there with some 2s mixed in it to keep the water flowing out towards the ditch. By the time, in theory, by the time it hits there, it should be completely filtered out. Look at the sky tonight. We've had rain on and off all day. This probably got to be one of the best views. So I'll bring you over here and show you what I got going on. So in this first 500-gallon tank, it's not completely finished. I just glued the joints. I 485'd it instead of a 90 to make it easier to come through with a snake if it ever gets clogged. It's all 4-inch line, main 4-inch all the way underneath the building. We got a 3-inch vent / clean out there. I'm going to leave the 90 that I got for it off. I'm gonna put it on there, but I'm gonna leave it loose so I can pull it off and run my snake down through into this first tank. I got to put my piece in here after I get this. I got to push it in a little bit and get it set. Make sure my drop is good. 1/4 inch per foot here in Western New York from building to first septic tank. Yeah, there is. I got to put that piece in there. That just drops. Make sure it's not shooting out. This tank does not have a baffle in it, but the 1,000-gallon tank does. So this is the A100 filter in here. It's like a grease trap, big sediment. Hoping to catch most of our meat and grease particles from cleanup, fats. And then in this tank, it's just a normal drop like in the first tank. And then it's got a small filter in the back before it heads out to the leach field, because this will be for bathrooms can tie into this eventually, and etc. So that's where I'm going to wrap this video up, guys. I didn't get a ton of video of backfilling the water line that night. It was super late. I just wanted to get it done, but it is in, it's connected to the well, and I think I'm going to do another video of just putting the mechanicals together. That is the submersible jet pump, the line going down with all the keepers and all that on it. Show you guys what I do. Setting up the pressure tank, pressure switch, probably wiring that in. So yeah, that is going to be separate. So if you guys could like, comment, subscribe, share, and click the notifications bell. Hope to catch you guys on the next one.